Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today, as you can tell from the title, it is my very first 15 days of makeup look. I asked you all on Snapchat a while back whether a series like this would be something that would interest any of you, in which I put together an eye look using only one palette and also incorporating my brush set, the Sigma brush set that I have on sale right now. Still 20% off if you're interested. Link is in the description down below. And a lot of you said yes. I also asked you to send over your palette suggestions. A lot of them were Anastasia Beverly Hills, which fortunately I have a lot of. So I am planning on using the Modern Renaissance, the Soft Glam. Funny enough, no one asked for the Subculture palette, which I'm okay with. I know there was a lot of controversy surrounding that palette. And I also had a lot of people ask me to use the new Norvina palette that is set to launch in a couple of days for some of the looks. So I am planning on purchasing that and putting together some looks. Might be toward the end of the series, just depending on what the shipping is on that, like how fast I receive it. But I do plan on putting looks together using that palette as well. I had some people request some Tarte palettes, some people request BH Cosmetics, a lot of people requesting drugstore palettes. And so I'm going to try to give you a little bit of everything, but rest assured that every single eye look is going to be done using only one palette. That is my main thing. So I wanted to challenge myself and do that for 15 days. At first I thought 30, but I figured 30 might be a little bit too much. And so I pulled it back to 15, see how I do with that. If you all like the series, then I might do it again, and next time I do it, it might be for 30. So now during these next 15 days, I am going to be uploading one video a day, but you might occasionally see a couple of uploads that day because I do still plan on reviewing products. So I'm going to be putting looks together. I'm still going to be reviewing products. So you'll see some of those in the mix as well. Yeah, and I think that's all I have. So now I'm going to stop talking in this intro and I'm going to get right into the look. Okay, so the first eyeshadow that I'm going to grab with my tapered blending from the set is Burnt Orange. I'm going to use this as a transition shade. So I'm going to place it right here. I'm going to start it here along the outer crease and just blend it into the crease with circular windshield wiping motions. Now the only thing that I have done to my eye before starting this look is concealer and setting powder in order to prep the eyes for eyeshadow application. And I'm actually going to wing it out a little bit. Usually I don't wing out my eyeshadows. I like to keep them nice and round. But for this particular look, I do feel like winging it out a little bit. So I'm just going to lightly just flick along the end and then just bring it back in. Okay, next I'm going to grab Red Ochre with the same brush. And I'm going to apply it along the crease, but I'm keeping this one a little bit further down. Okay, next I'm going to take my blending E25 and I'm actually going to grab Venetian Red, and this is going to go into my crease. So I'm first going to pat it in just the outer portion here, so like the outer V and then along my crease a little bit. I'm going to pat the eyeshadow onto the lid first. Just placing it exactly where I want it before coming back and blending. I'm just going back and deepening that. Okay, and then I'm going back to my E40 without adding any additional product. I'm just going to blend around the edges there. Okay, so next I'm going to take Primavera from the palette and I'm just going to be grabbing it with my finger. It is a very soft eyeshadow, so as soon as you press your finger up against the pan, you get a ton of color onto your finger, and then you can just drag it and place it onto the inner half or the inner 2/3 of the mobile lid area. And then you take it right up to the crease. And then I'm just going to take my E25 once again and just lightly blend around the edges without adding any additional product. Next, of course, comes lashes. Now before I apply those, I'm simply going to tight line right underneath the lash line using a black gel liner. This one here is from Smashbox. It is their always on gel liner in fishnet. So I'm just taking this black and running it back and forth underneath the lash line. This is going to thicken the appearance of the lash line, and it's going to help us hide our false lashes. Next, of course, comes mascara. So I'm just going to apply a little bit of my High Def Beauty For Real mascara. And this is just going to help blend my false lashes with my real lashes. So just a nice quick coat before moving on to false lash application. Okay, so I'm going to be taking a quick break from the eyes and work on the rest of the face for now. Now, because of the foundation that I am going to be using for today, I am going to need a pore filling primer. So I'm going to take my Porefessional from Benefit, and I'm going to be using it around this area. So just mainly around the nose and the sides of my nose as well, in order to fill everything in. For foundation today, I'm using my CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made Foundation in the shade M70. And I'm going to be taking my 3D blender, just grabbing some of that and patting it all over the face. And I don't know if you all noticed, but I did skip out on color correcting the under eye area today. Because of the concealer that I plan on using, I don't really need it. And so, yeah, I'm skipping it. For concealer, I'm going to be using my Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer in the shade Sand. This has been such a go-to of mine lately. Okay, now just taking my 3D blender once again in order to blend it all out. And this is why I really love blending out the under eye area with this particular blender. It's because it's so pointy at the top that it gets really in there and it does not disturb anything else. And something you can do with the concealer that the blender has picked up, it shouldn't be too much, but just enough. You can just pinch it in order to create kind of like a straight line, and then just stamp the top, like the bridge of your nose, and that'll highlight without you having to run product on it and then disturbing the foundation underneath. I have that issue, and so I just thought that I would share this little trick that I have been using. It's just using whatever is left over on the blender, on the 3D blender, and I've just been running it up and down my nose, and that contours it really nicely, like I said, without disturbing anything that's underneath. All right, and then I'm going to set the under eye area very, very little. A little bit of powder won't hurt. Especially because this concealer is quite hydrating. It's not really going to make the concealer look dry. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the eyes in order to finish those off. The first thing that I'm going to do is line my waterline with this NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. This one is in the shade Sparkle Nude. After that, I'm going to be taking my E30 from the set, and I'm going to lightly dip it into red ochre. And I'm going to just run that along the lower lash line. So in between the lashes is where you want to have this. And I'm just going to connect it to that outer portion that's going out like this along the bottom. And I'm not taking it in all the way. I'm stopping about 2/3 of the way in before I get here into the inner corner. And then I'm going to grab Venetian Red with that as well. And I'm going to apply it right on top. And the last thing that I'm going to do is grab Burnt Orange with this and then just blend it into both colors. And of course, finishing it off with a little bit of mascara on those lower lashes. No! I got it on the nose. So while I wait for this little mistake to dry, you never want to rub off any wet mascara. It's just gonna make a mess. Just be patient. I know it's there and I really want to just wipe it off or kind of just run my 3D blender through the top of my nose, but it's just gonna mess everything up. So I'm gonna wait for it to dry. And while I do that, I'm gonna work on the rest of my face. So I'm gonna take my Hoola bronzer from Benefit. I'm just going to apply some of that using my Luxie 512. This one is not in my set. It's a Luxie brush. I really love it for contouring the face. I've used it for so long. Next, I'm going to take my Bobbi Brown Shimmer Brick. This one is in the shade Nectar. It's one that I've really been liking for blush lately. And then I'm going to take my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, just apply that onto the tops of the cheeks. Now the Shimmer Brick already has a little bit of highlight in it. It's kind of like a baked blush, but I just like to be extra, so I add more. Now we've given this little speck here enough time to dry. There, we're good to go. Okay, now last but not least, the lips. So I'm just going to use a wipe to get rid of this extra foundation here that's accumulated on my lips. Now for lips today, I'm going to be using two different products. The first one being this Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick. This one is in the shade Material Girl. It's such a beautiful color. I love wearing this. And next I'm going to take my Beauty For Real Nudist Gloss and I'm going to dab that with my finger over my lips just to make them nice and glossy. I've been doing that a lot lately with my matte liquid lipsticks, is that I want that added gloss and that added shine. So I just add a gloss on top of it and it works out. And that completes today's look. Thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's makeup tutorial and that you found it helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future tutorials, product reviews, anything beauty related. And also don't forget to follow me on all of my other social media platforms where I love to interact with you all. I am All Beauty by Sarah with an H on Instagram and All Beauty by Sarah without the H on Snapchat and Twitter. As always, take care and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.